If food is the loudest voice in your head, I want you to know that you are not broken. You have just been trained to shrink your life down to calories, to cravings, and control. On this episode today, we are going to change that, and I'm going to allow you to see the light in your future lifestyle when it comes to dieting and achieving and manifesting your dream body, because it's so within reach for you. And I want you to feel like you can do this so easily. I promise you that if you stay till the end of this video, you are going to fully understand why up until this point everything has felt so difficult. And you're going to have some serious mindset shifts that are just going to help everything to flow so much more easily. And you will look back in a few weeks' time and say, how could I even have been caught in that trap? Let's do this. Beautiful. So firstly, I just want you to understand that the whole entire world of dieting, the whole entire concept of dieting is based around food. So if you are not at your goal weight, your dream weight, or even let's just say body composition, because you may be already looking really good, let's say you might be on track, you're nearly there, but you've never managed to get to that point of excellence for yourself. You've never managed to look and feel absolutely phenomenal. You maybe look above average, but there are bits and pieces that you want to tweak. There are things that make you feel, if I could only just. So what do we do here? We start to restrict ourselves, don't we? Because we think, we have been brainwashed into thinking that if we just take something away, then, well, it's inevitable. We're going to lose that weight. We're going to look more lean. Now, I want you to understand something, right? And I'm not going to go too much in depth into this, but in fact, we'll touch on this in point 2. Okay, I'm going to come back to the point of nourishment versus restriction, because this is a huge, big thing when it comes to body composition. I just want you to keep front of mind that there is such a phrase in the dieting industry, in the weight loss industry, in all of that, called skinny fat. And I want you to understand that no matter how much you restrict, if you're not fueling your body with the right things, if you look at this image here in front of you, you'll see that I've selected an image where the woman, she's probably, pulling in her stomach as much as she can to get that effect for the photo. But you can see that muscle tone there very slightly. You can see it's there. You don't see a very malnourished person. You see that strength. Look at her glutes as well. Look at her arms. So this person is sculpted. You don't get to the point of having that goddess-like physique, if that's what you're after, if you are restricting yourself so much, where essentially your body will just hold on to anything it can. It will hold on to everything, every ounce of fat. You're basically just going to have a very, it's not, maybe some people desire that look. Maybe some people want to be a little bit, just lacking that curvature. I don't know if that's your goal, fine. But if you're really looking for that lean, sculpted look where you are very, very slim, you have curves in all the right places, then you cannot be restricting yourself, because your body has very lean muscle that it needs to sustain. But essentially, if it is the center of your world, it's not because you're greedy. Okay, I want you to understand that. It's because you're obsessed. Because restriction forces your brain into obsession. It's simply a survival mechanism. If you're not fueling your body with the nutrients it needs, your body sends alarm signals to your brain that basically say, please help me, I'm starving, feed me, feed me, feed me. And your body, your brain isn't in a place of discerning, oh, I need you to go and fuel me with some very high nourishing food. It just literally will ask you to fuel it with anything. So that is precisely why you cannot get the food noise out of your head. Now, diet culture teaches us to measure life in bites and calories, or how we could also just paralyze your stomach and block out that food noise by giving you this very expensive jab. They love those jabs, don't they? I shouldn't say that word because I think that's anyway. Yeah, so, we can do this, we can do that. No, diet culture is so sick. So, of course, food does feel like the main character. Why? I've told you this many times in the previous videos. It's because the big food corporations are cashing in. They're cashing in on you, us, being hooked on all of these food-like substances which have been engineered to be so desirable and delicious that you become hooked on them. It's criminal, really. We become hooked on them, we become so unhealthy. Our whole body is giving us telltale signs. Hey, this isn't the way we're meant to look. If you've ever looked in the mirror and you've been like, I'm striving for more, I want to be better. It's not, people will try and tell you, you're obsessed, you have an obsession. They will try and say things like, oh, you should just be happy the way you are. No, that's you ignoring your intuition. Your intuition wants you to be, your higher self wants you to be the best you can be, the healthiest, the fittest, the most incredible. And it's not going to stop pointing you in the right direction, because that's your internal guidance system to be successful and happy in your life. So that's why if you look in the mirror and you're not yet happy, it's basically your internal guidance system saying, hey, there's so much more we can do here to make you fit, strong and healthy. Okay, you might add some certain dialogue to it that goes, you're not good enough, that says you're not good enough, but in reality, your intuition is telling you you could be healthier, fitter, leaner, whatever, more powerful, stronger. And that's what it all comes down to. If you really analyse it, this is what it's all about. It's your higher self. So when somebody says, oh, you don't need to work out because you're already thin or slim or whatever, don't listen to it. You need to listen to yourself. Now, do we want to be in the gym 7 days a week? No, but we need to be somehow keeping up some good, healthy muscle tone. It's good for your body, mind and spirit. It's very good throughout all stages of your life, but particularly as you are maturing, because it ensures that you're going to stay very strong and healthy. It impacts your brain and everything. So there is a payoff. So maybe you can't be bothered, but go and lift something, do something to develop your strength. That's a different topic for another day. But diet culture doesn't teach us that. It shows us the shiny, sparkly packaging, all that delicious, engineered fake stuff, that fake sugar that makes you so hooked and addicted that you can't stop. And it's pretty much devoid of all nutrients. So your body, when you're ingesting it, your body isn't like, oh great, thanks, I'm full. Your body's like, but you still like, okay, you gave me some sort of fuel that I can just quickly release, but you didn't really nourish me. So I'm still looking for more. That's why. And the real cost of that is that every conversation, every event that you're invited to, every thought gets filtered through, can I eat this? Instead of, how do I actually want to live? And the sad thing is that because we know when we go to all these events, people, everyone has centered their world, their lives around food. So it's usually all like, if you go to a party, what will you see? It'll be the cakes, the sweet treats, everything. It'll just be all spread out there. And then, people will be like, here, would you like some of the cake? Would you like this? No, thank you. Oh, go on. You know how it goes. That's the narrative. But the real cost is because food is essentially the centre of everyone's world, because that's just the way diet culture is, and that's just the way the propaganda is, and everything is being pushed upon us. I mean, you can't even go to the supermarket without, at the checkouts, there being all the different types of sweets right in front of you. Have you ever noticed that before? Sometimes, I mean, we do an online shop just because I have a young boy, and it's like my daughter, sometimes when we would go, she would look at the sweets and she would say, "Oh, look at that," as if, "Oh, that's quite nice." And it's like, yeah, but you know, adults would maybe even reach for that without even thinking. So anyway, let's move on from this. Understand, please, that your body is not a project. It's your home. It is your home for this lifetime. And women are conditioned to treat their bodies like an endless DIY project that needs fixing. Your body doesn't need fixing. Your body is absolutely perfectly intelligent right now the way it is. Please let me know in the comments if you feel that. Make sure you hit the like button if you believe this too. Your body does not need fixing, because with that mindset, it keeps you stuck in shame, constantly working on yourself, instead of actually just being yourself. So you're not a work in progress. You are incredible you right now the way you are. And all it takes is to tap into that higher self, that voice within, that will tell you exactly what you need to do in the moment. Will tell you exactly what next steps you need to take. Don't let your brain fool you. Don't let that monkey mind fool you into thinking, "Oh no, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do that." Your brain, your higher self's got you covered. You don't need to think about your long-term nutrition plan, this, that. You don't need to think about overhauling anything. It will all happen at the right time. All you have to do is just take the next step. That's it. So just take a moment and just imagine the power shift that you would actually experience if your body wasn't the battleground. It wasn't a constant struggle every day, but instead it was the foundation for your incredible life, the place that you rise from, the place that you essentially, you've set the foundation. You are now that balanced, strong, incredible human. You have the capacity now to start achieving your goals and focusing your energy and your strength elsewhere. Because the reality is, food can be fuel, but it can't be your purpose. You were born with a very important purpose. Now, some of you may know what that is, some of you may yet be on your journey to discovering that. But the more central that food is in your life, and I'm also going to say the more central that processed food is in your life, because that's a big thing. Do you know that, like, if you go into your cupboard and if you have any of those jars of things that you think are quite healthy, like the pasta sauces and all of that, if you actually look, pasta itself, if you look at anything in your pantry, or if you look in your cupboard, if you see those sweet treats, just have a look at the ingredients. What that means is that food has been engineered by humans. It has not been designed by our creator, who knows exactly what we need. So this has been designed, has been found. We know sugar is a highly addictive substance. So when we are incorporating all of these sugars into our diet, and they're being sneakily popped into all these, cooking sauces and various other things, you need to understand that anything like that has been designed to be addictive. It is a product. All right, so the more central food is, and the more central processed food is in your life, the more it actually steals from your identity. And that can even be with regards to healthy foods if you're really restricting them. You're not here to count almonds. You are here to create, to lead, to love, to build, and to live. And I know that for me personally, if you go on and you see my previous videos, you will see that I not recently actually, but over the course of the span of maybe about 6 months, I heavily reduced my carbohydrate intake and I replaced that with healthy fats and mostly proteins and fats. So my diet is significantly different than it was 6 months ago. I no longer have to count anything that I eat. I yesterday had about 2,600 calories, and I was dreading going on the scale today. Yesterday at lunch, I was still hungry, and I was like, no, I'm gonna continue to fuel myself until I feel full, or not full, but satiated until I feel, yeah, that's good. I didn't want to feel full, like really bloated. I just wanted to feel, yeah, I'm not hungry anymore. So that wasn't on my mind. And I did that. I actually did that. Now, in terms of manners and etiquette and things, I wouldn't go for second portions. That's not good to me. That's not best manners. But I'm relearning as well every single day how to retrain my body for success when it comes to dieting and my lifestyle. Diet doesn't necessarily mean cutting calories. My diet has included adding calories significantly, 1,000 and more calories over time to get to the right balance for me. But I had taken in 2,700 calories yesterday, and when I stepped on the scale, I had lost weight. How is that possible? I was dreading it. I was like, I really don't want to do this, but I do it every day for measurement, for tracking things. I couldn't believe it. I could not believe it. So that just goes to show you, when people say calories in, calories out, they are massively missing something. They are missing something. I actually believe that the calories in, calories out thing only works when you're dealing with carbohydrates, when you incorporate a lot of carbohydrates into your diet. I'm going to say that. I know there are laws. They call them laws. They created them. These scientific laws. Think about it. Every law has been created from a concept. So just think about that. So when people say pseudoscience and science is pseudoscience in itself. Alright, can you actually prove there's truth in everything? And things are also... Do you realise, it really frustrates me so much that people are not understanding when they see all of this science and all of these studies. Who do you think funded them? Ask yourself that. Do you know there are people at the moment who, and I'm going off slightly, there are doctors at the moment who are working very hard to have papers published on the benefits of dramatically reducing carbohydrate intake. And the reason that they are not getting their papers published is because there's so much pushback from the industry, from the health industry. I'm going to put in quote unquote the health industry, because health should actually be about helping you to thrive. Health shouldn't be about how can we just keep treating your problem, how can we keep cashing in on you. But they know that. If you, for example, me, I observe, I take part into a lesser degree. I am part of a community online where people have chosen to take their health into their own hands. I never had poor health before, but I want to optimize my health, because my health, my body is a temple, because I want to be here for a long time. We only get one chance at this life, and I will do whatever it takes to be my best, most powerful, strongest self throughout this time, for me and for my family, because I've seen what happens when you don't take care of your health, or you're not even aware of how changes in your diet can significantly impact your health in the later years. I want to be here with the best quality of life, doing whatever I can for many years to come. That's why I do these things. But the most incredible people are realizing the changes that they can make and how they can actually impact their bodies. The people who do this are very supportive. want to encourage others. There's a whole community forming around about this diet and nutrition lifestyle. But I've noticed that there's huge pushback, okay, from the people who want to control us. They will do whatever they can to fund studies that can, these studies, take them with a pinch of salt, look through them, check who has designed the study, check who's funded the study. You can see who's associated in these studies and what their motivations may be. Did you know that it's very hard for universities to gain any funding for studies that don't fit the narrative of what certain organisations who are funding them want to push? It's another form of influencing. So when you can see through all of that, when food actually takes its rightful place, its background support for you, it's not the spotlight in your life, then space opens up for passions, for projects, and for power in your life. And I want to finish off today just with acknowledging the shift that we want to make as human beings, as women in charge of our families, who are leading our families. Real empowerment doesn't come from nailing a diet, from sticking to your 1200 calories or whatever that may be. It comes from trusting yourself, trusting your inner voice, trusting your intuition. You were born with a very strong, powerful intuition. You don't realize that because the powers that be want to dim all of that and take away your power and make you feel like you're worthless and your voice doesn't mean anything. But the truth is, when you can tap into that intuition, you become ridiculously powerful, insanely powerful. So do it. Listen to your inner voice and let it guide you today. We'll finish off actually at the end with maybe a little meditation on this to help you go out into your day or wherever you are in your day. But I want you to just understand the last few points here, because when you stop obsessing, you don't lose control, you gain it. You want to get to the point where you've got several things in your life all organized, so that it's a habit, so that you do them. These are key integral parts of your life that are important when it comes to your health, but you don't let it run your life. You just free up. So you're probably thinking, oh my goodness, I'm going to have to do so much. You might think you do, but you don't really. Really, if you start, I am no nutritionist. I am my own personal guidance system and nutritionist. I am simply sharing with you what I have done that's made my fitness and health journey more successful very quickly. When you can actually step back and say, I'm having the same lunch every single day, and you tweak it and you edit it and you alter it and you refine it and you make it better. I'm having the same lunch every single day. I'm having varied dinners every day, but they don't actually contain all of the things that I used to think that had to be on my plate to make me healthy. And in fact, by removing all of that, I have seen significant improvements in my health, my wellness, and how I feel every day. Not only that, but my mood, how balanced I am, and how able I am to say no to things that would give me a very quick dopamine fix. I have a seriously dangerous level now of self-control. I'm talking dangerous. You will become a very dangerous force to be reckoned with when you can say no to all of the things that have kept you small. And the more you do it, the better you become and the easier it will become. You think about it. If you actually started to nourish your body properly, like me, how can somebody who's dieted all their life yo-yo, you go to the 1200 calories, then you're like, I'm actually starving, so then you eat something else, then you feel guilty, then you try the same again for the next 10 years of your life. But what if you actually just, like me, gradually up the calories with the correct things that nourish and fuel your body? You're not going to feel hungry. So therefore, it's going to be so much easier for you to say no to the first initial sweet treats you're offered, or the snacks, or this or that. And you won't see it anymore as insulting somebody if you don't take part in their choice of diet or food, or someone's bringing things into your office, or why not, the peer pressure. No, thank you. And if people do keep pressuring you, as I said before, you're simply just going to say, is there a reason, why you're pressuring me? Can you please not pressure me? I'm not a child. I've already given you the same answer many times. Sometimes people really need. Oh, trust me. And I know, and I do feel bad sometimes, having to say no, but I'm not really in situations like that anymore. But I know how it is if someone's baked the cake, or someone's done this, or someone's son or daughter has done it, and you're like, you don't want to seem rude. In that case, is it better to take a slice and just, wow, that's lovely, and you just don't? Is it better to accept the slice and you just don't partake in it? Oh, it's beautiful, but I don't actually feel like it at the moment. Thank you so much for understanding. There's ways of doing it, okay? There are ways of doing that, but if you're getting pressured, eventually it'll just be like, nobody will bother anymore. People may project, as I said yesterday, their insecurities onto you, because they might be like, oh, well, you think you're better than us, you think you're this, you think you're that. No, I don't. But stop being obsessed about what I eat. Just focus on yourself, and that's sometimes, unfortunately, you do have to be a little bit more firm. But if people are really going to the extremes, you need to allow them to understand that that's not going to work with you. And in fact, you need to stop that right away. I am grateful that I do have the attitude to do that when needs be. I'm a very firm but fair person, a very kind person, but I don't suffer that nonsense. I don't. And that's just something that you need to take into your life if you do feel like everyone's pressuring you in some way. Okay, just remove it from your mind and let your inner guidance system help you when those situations arise. But food does lose its grip when you start asking, who am I beyond what I eat? What else do I want to grow in my life? Do you want to start a business? Do you want to start a podcast? What do you want to do with your life? Do you want to climb the ranks in your career? Do you want to build a family? What do you want to do? Start to ask yourself that question, focus on that. But then when you set those amazing structures in place, so you know what you're having for your meals, and it's healthy, nutritious meals, you won't be snacking all the time. You won't need to take up all that space. Maybe instead of all the snacking, you'll have more time to go out walking, or to go and join a gym, or to do other healthy things in your life, or grow that business. Because in the times when you would be snacking, doing this, doing that, you're actually replacing that with a really positive, creative outlet where you're actually growing something for yourself. So if you're ready to stop letting food dictate your worth, and you want to step into the confidence, the energy, and identity that lasts beyond the plate, then it's time for your spark activation. It's an amazing resource I have. You can find it in the link below. And it's essentially your private roadmap to uncovering the patterns, the habits, and the hidden blocks that are keeping you food obsessed, and showing you how to rise above them. It's all to do with your inner power and your mindset. You know what you should be doing. We have the internet. It tells you every single diet plan in the world that you could possibly need. You don't need more information. You need support to strengthen your inner power. That's what you need. You could go right now and ask ChatGPT to design for you a diet plan, and it would work based on all the metrics you give it. But would you do it? Have these things worked for you in the past? I know that. I've lived through it. I felt it, and I have never in my life felt so happy, so healthy, so fit, so confident, because I have managed to get rid of all of that. So that's why I designed a spark activation. It's just so that you can get some individualized support to grow into your highest self and realize that and manifest that in real life. So you can claim that now and you can take your place at the center of your life, not your next meal. You can find that in the link below. But tomorrow we're going to be talking about how to stop letting food run your life. Some practical strategies that are going to help you to take back control if you're still really struggling with this. So this is one that you don't want to miss. Make sure that you're liked, you're subscribed. Have an amazing day. Comment below your thoughts, your feelings. I love to hear from you. And I'll see you in the next episode or in Spark Activation.